Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So today's video guide is going to be something I know a lot of you have been asking for, that being a guide on how to shiny hunt, or more accurately, bootleg hunt, and the sort of methods we found while playing Cassette Beast. Now, that being said, just like any other system in Cassette Beast, forget what you know about Pokemon, because there is a lot of differences here with regards to how bootlegs work, and subsequently how the hunting methods will work as well. For a more general outlook at what bootlegs are, check out this video that I put together with my good friend Buried Bandit that explains the system as a whole and why bootlegs are, at least in my opinion, cooler than your typical shiny that we see in most monster taming games. This video is specifically going to be about hunting them and how you could do so if you need more context for the system, that's where you need to go. Now, speaking of my buddy Barry, he is here once again on the channel to help me out, because there are two phases of what you can consider shiny hunting in this game. There's your more streamlined or typical method of running around in the overworld and trying to encounter them. Then there's also the post-game ritual candle method, which I'm going to be discussing in a bit. That being said, by the end of this video, you should have an understanding of how shiny hunting works, some of the quirks within the system, and more. So make sure to sit back, relax, and let's dive in.
Thanks for having me on, Ed. So let's dive right into this. Overworld bootleg hunting. So what do shinies or bootlegs look like in the overworld? So first thing, obviously, they're different colors. But the really cool thing, what they added to the full release, is they added a static or white noise animation. So if you're really paying attention, you'll see the animation kind of flicker in and out. So the next thing that you will also notice with shinies, once you're in battle, the name is actually in red lettering. So if for some strange reason you miss the animation or you miss the color, there is that rare possibility that the secondary monster that spawns in, or the second one, will be a bootleg. The way to tell is by that red lettering. Just remember, guys, the odds are 1 in 1,000 to catch a bootleg in the overworld. So how do you hunt bootlegs out in the overworld? So one of the first methods is just the old-fashioned way of just randomly just running in an area and praying that the 1 in 1,000 odds are in your favor. But I definitely don't recommend that unless you want to be crazy like me and do a traffic crab only let's play and waste potentially, 5 hours of your life trying to catch 6 of them. But I don't wish upon that on anybody. But so what I would recommend, which is honestly what I ended up doing at the very end, was getting the dash ability. So in my case, once I got the dash ability, I went to the first area where the traffic crabs kind of hang out. And what I've noticed is they don't despawn once you go out. Like, it's a really big circle, so it's going to take a long time. So what I ended up finding was fleeing from them was the best method. So I would dash into one, flee, and then dash and hit another one and flee, and just kind of rinse and repeat. And I found myself roughly about every 20 to 40 minutes, unless I'm just completely lucky, I end up finding a bootleg. So I found that a really efficient way of kind of doing simple overworld bootlegging, at least in the beginning of the game, at least early game. So another method that you can potentially do, but I don't really recommend it early game, is doing swarms. Unfortunately, when you're in early game, you just don't know where the swarms are, and you're going to be doing a lot of roaming, which kind of relates to the first method. You're just randomly looking and hoping that the 1 in 1,000 odds. But if you do find a swarm, you do have a really high chance that the odds will be in your favor, but it's not always a guarantee. So I'm going to pass this off to Ed and let him finish up the video.
Alright, so with the pre-post game stuff out of the way, it's time to discuss the various methods by which you can farm for bootlegs in a more consistent manner. This is going to involve an item called the Ritual Candle, which can be found at the Fused Materials shop for 50 fused materials after defeating all of the captains and captain leader. The way this item works is pretty simple, but also very unique, and takes advantage of Cassette Beast's recycle feature, which allows you to toss monsters for scrap. Basically, what you're going to do is turn autosave off in the settings, very important, save your game, activate the candle, then recycle your desired monster at a cafe or campfire. Once done, the ritual will be complete, and the next fusion you fight will have a bootleg form within it, which is once again noted by the red lettering in their name. Now, the way this works actually has to do with what monster you actually sacrificed. Basically, from what I can tell, there's about a 50% chance that you find a bootleg of the same type as a monster that you sacrificed, and a 50% chance that it'll be of the same species of a random type. You can use this in order to farm for specific bootlegs. Do note that once you've completed the game and all of the captains and whatnot, you'll receive a fusion radar, which showcases where fusions are on the map. So if you're wondering why I can see that, that's why. Speaking of which, and a lot of this next part is thanks to you guys in the Cassette Beast Discord, and I've been throwing a lot of ideas back and forth with you guys, but basically one of the users there, whom I can't seem to find because our messages were from a while ago, mentioned that if you're able to find a fusion swarm containing a specific species, you can also use that in conjunction with sacrificing a monster of a specific type to get a bootleg of the type you're looking for. Now, this isn't always going to be 100%. For example, if you get a traffic crab fusion swarm and one part of the fusion is in fact traffic crab, while the other is something else, sacrificing an astral type monster will either change the second fusion part to that monster species that you sacrificed, or change the second monster to the sacrificed monster's typing, or thirdly, it can in fact change the traffic crab's typing to astral. The key thing here is that traffic crab will always remain, but it's not a 100% way to guarantee it either. Finding a specific swarm can definitely take a long time, but if you happen to find one, saving right before and using the candle doesn't hurt. Worst case scenario, you reload your save and you still have your candle in your inventory. The way the game's seed works, if you try to soft reset over and over again, you're just going to keep getting the same result from the candle, so it's not like you can try this multiple times either. Also, something I've noticed in general with the way fusions and rogue fusions and whatnot spawn is that every time you rest, a new sort of seed is created, I guess. So if you keep reloading your save over and over again and use a candle, you're going to find yourself running into the same fusion. So make sure you've rested after you exhaust all of the fusions in a particular area. Otherwise, you'll just continually find yourself finding the same stuff. With Cassette Beast having a lot of complex systems and tons of randomization with its post-game, I can definitely see more and more new methods popping up as time progresses, so I wouldn't be surprised if even better methods are found in the future. That being said, if you did find this guide useful, definitely make sure to like and subscribe for daily monster taming content, and you can also check out my Twitter, Discord, and Patreon linked below. Also, make sure to comment any suggestions you guys have. Cassette Beasts is such a deep game with its mechanics, and I think when we sort of pool together all of our thoughts as a community, we can really enhance the experience. But also don't forget to check out my buddy Barry Bandit's channel linked below, which he's almost at 500 subs. The goal is to get him there, so let's see if we can't get him to 500 by the end of the week. I really think we can do it. He's only got like 20 something more to go, so make sure to subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.